This is Danger Dan, and you are watching the Mama Tried Flat Out Friday podcast, brought to you by Harley Davidson. So I put the crimp on Brad. He wouldn't give me any information. So I brought you here today.
Did you?
To divulge.
So we're just gonna hound Chris.
We want to know.
I've been talking to Chris Graves when he worked there and everybody else. I'm like, you know, we all want to know the details. Your friends working there, like, what's the latest and greatest? What's coming out? What's the motor company doing? And you know, I can't really talk about it. That leaves you on the edge of your seat. And like, I'm not going to leave you on the edge of your seat. I'm just going to say, like, it's cool stuff. I think we've seen the most of it, but I am very impressed with the team that I've been working with and like how they're building upon that in the steps. And I think they got a good team in there right now, and the future of the brand and, you know, the age we're at, I think we're great at appreciating what they're coming out with and what they're going to be coming out with.
Mm-hmm. So I was really stoked talking to Brad and just hearing about the process. It's just interesting. You know, it's one thing to build a chopper on your own or bike or whatever it may be. And, you know, you're running the ideas through yourself and you make a decision, you know, like with Harley, you're building it and you got to have, there's so many other channels, so much input coming in from every direction, and to make everybody happy and to find those balances and, you know, the give and take, where it's function or form. And, you know, it's just a lot going on.
So how many years out are you guys, like, for releasing a new bike? From the initial design to release? 3 years?
Yeah, so the stuff, the 23 stuff that just came out, I had no idea on the colors or the models or the colors and the model year changes. And, you know, I was pretty stoked to see that white sand pearl that they came out with on the new STs. Like, I've never been a new bike guy, but it's starting to grow on me. It's starting to grow on me, especially when you can hop on one and ride.
You're talking to two Pan America guys.
Yeah, 300 miles and not have any trouble.
You know, there's always going to be something. You know?
And I can't, since I've been in there, I hate being repetitive at work about it. It's like, you guys got to check out Danger Dan's bike. You got to check out Dan. I want you guys to meet him. This guy is putting your motorcycle through the ringer. Like, when I saw you get hit by that truck.
Oh, God.
Like, a TMMR?
I'm so glad you're okay, but I was so excited
that he got hit.
It's not about the motorcycles, it's the adventures that you have on.
Well, dude, that event right there, running into that truck, you know, freaking out. I ran off, came back, the bike's still there, pick it up. Like, that's when I like felt connected to the bike. Before that, it was just like it wasn't my bike. Once we both rode away from that instance, I was like, all right, you're on the team, you know, you can be part of the family.
And not only that, Curpius is helping you finagle something together with a beer can to get the radiator hose not from melting. Like,
well, Curpius was like, you know, you got a new bike, you know, it's not your chopper. You're going to have to buy new parts to fix it. And I'm like, no, I'm not. You know, like, I'm going to fix this right now.
We're going to take care of it.
I got shit to do tomorrow. There's no parts to buy. And he was like, what are we going to use? Something in our hands? And he's holding onto a beer can. And I'm like,
yep.
That's exactly what
What'd you have to fix with it?
So it was me, Curpius, and Carlos, and they were both drinking Modelo's. So once we came up with the idea to make a heat shield, fucking Carlos, he's like a metal fucking genius. So he made a great, Curpius made one, we tried it, it didn't work very well. And then Carlos gave me his version, and it fucking slid right over the radiator hose to protect it from the header, and it's been on there ever since.
Still?
It's up there right now.
You rode through South America with that that? That adds to the story.
I mean, it's up there right now. You didn't see it? You didn't see the Modelo can?
Not yet.
I'm just kidding. You can't really, because it's so covered with shit and it's burnt. The fucking, you know, the color. You can tell it's a Modelo can, but you got to look for it.
Didn't you just crack your cases on that bike?
I did.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You know, and it sucks because I didn't like jump it off a cliff or hit a big rock. Like, literally the kickstand was being weird, like the last week of the trip. And instead of like getting down on the ground and seeing what was going on, I'm like, I'm almost done. You know, like, I'll just got to get the bike back to Buenos Aires and I'll fly it home.
Was it dripping oil?
Dude, the two of the three screws came loose, and the kickstand was only bolted with one bolt into the case, and that fucking screw bent and then cracked the case right above like the bung in there. So we JB welded it. And
because there's no frame underneath that the kickstand's mounted to. It's mounted directly to the engine case, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and really, it would have just been fine if I'd have just gone down and looked at it and seen that there was 2 screws coming out. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's holding oil now, though. JB Weld fucking worked miracles down in South America.
Oh. I lost a timing plug in my Sportster once on a trip.
Yeah.
And Cody Davidson was like, you know, I had oil all over my leg, the classic story of that. And he pulls out his toothpaste container and he's like, here, put this in there. And I threaded in the toothpaste cap backwards into the timing hole. And that stayed in there for at least 6 months. I didn't change that out. It's like, don't fix something that's not really broken.
Dude, I made a plug. Actually, I think Nick made it. No, Nick didn't make it. I used one of Nick's knives to make it, but just a plug out of a piece of wood to stick in my 4-speed because I lost that, the fill cap.
You got to be ingenuity. Got to make it. Got to do
absolutely. You can't stop.
Can't stop.
Have you gotten any miles on that Pan Am yet?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've only had it for a month. But yeah, I mean, I put probably close to 1,000 on it in a month.
You going to bring it to Tennessee?
Yeah. What are we going to do? We need to do some rides this year.
Dude,
what are you thinking?
We're going to do, how about we do the Sturgis ride we talked about?
Yeah. So I've commuted on it basically back and forth. I haven't really had a chance to take it off road, feel what it's really about. We're going to do that soon. And I can't wait. Dan swears by that. That's Dan's favorite thing about that bike.
That's sold. Once you take it off, it's...
No, I'm sold already. I really am. Like, I really like the bike. It's nice.
I'm honest, like, I've never ridden one yet. I got to sit on one before I worked for the company, and I was impressed with how comfortable it was. But I can't ride it at work unless I have like a tier 2 rider's approval. I got to go through an advanced riding course. I can take a live wire out, which is crazy faster than that, but I hear that the 1250 really goes.
It fucking rips, dude. It
really
does. I'm excited to do it.
What mode do you keep yours in all the time? Like sport mode, or do you actually change it?
No, yeah.
Like when you're in the dirt.
I change it when I go to dirt, and then I put it on road mode. Hell, I've even used the rain mode.
Yeah.
When it was raining. Like, I never thought I would even bother pressing the button, but I do.
What do you notice different with that?
Well, it's funny. You can like have the throttle, 3/4, wherever you got it, half, and press the button, and you can feel it, the motor adjust, like the throttle go one direction or another. And I don't notice a lot. I think it's like a little bit more mushy. It's not quite as reactive in rain mode. Sport mode, that's like the one you notice the most. When you put it in sport mode and hit the fucking throttle.
I keep mine in sport mode all the time.
It doesn't feel like any other mode, dude. It's good. And I use that a lot in the dirt too, because I think the suspension is a little bit stiffer in that mode. And I'm a big guy, and when I'm jumping and hitting shit,
Yeah.
But one thing I've been impressed with is the fucking anti-lock brakes. And I used to I was so against that, just like I would turn it off all the time. And then one day in New Mexico, I was like, I might as well just like play with it and see what it's like, and put it on, and I'm just not, I'm going downhill, and I just come up on a turn way too fast. There's a fucking cliff. It's a left-handed turn. And if I wouldn't have had that on, I would have just locked up and slid off.
That front wheel would have.
But I just hit the rear brake. I don't even wouldn't have used the front one, but I would have just locked up and slid.
Okay.
And wouldn't have, when I hit it now, it's like.
Does it pulses?
Gripping and fucking, I made the turn. I was just like, okay, there's something here. I gotta, so now I just leave that on all the time.
Listen to us excited about all these new.
I know. Does that mean we're getting old?
Cut
For
this
real.
out. We're gonna start over.
No, we're cooler than that. All right. Let's restart.
You're right, though. It's insane.
Yeah.
I really do love it. I really do. I was kind of against it. I mean, I've only ridden choppers. My newest bike up until this year, January of 23, was a 77 Shovelhead. That was my newest bike I've ever owned.
What about your Husky?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Harley. My newest Harley I've ever owned. Yeah, I got a 2018 Huskies. But yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with the Pan Am. It's so nice.
Do you own a new bike?
I don't.
Yeah.
I went and looked at
Not
them.
yet.
I looked at them last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting one.
But
yeah, you're done.
The wife was like, "Oh, I'd rather have we should buy a camper instead of a motorcycle."
The best part about it to me is
so responsible.
I'm sorry, Jake. Like,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes I think I'm too responsible. I need to make some more bad choices in my life. But That's when you start having fun and adventure.
What's your newest bike then?
My newest bike is my 58 XL Sportster.
What's the newest bike you've ever owned?
The 75 Shovelhead Super Glide.
Wow. Didn't you build like
a Harley or any bike?
Any bike.
You beat me.
Good. Didn't you build a Sportster dirt bike or like a dual sport or something?
No, I built my flathead that I put an early narrow glide front end on.
Okay.
It was really slim, but no, I don't think I ever built anything with a Sportster that was, no
Evo Sportster. No. Okay.
My wife has a 99 Sportster that we repainted, and she rides on more trips with her friends than I have in the last few years. So.
Good for her.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So maybe I can play that card. Like, you get to ride with your friends. I want to ride with mine. Get a brand new bike.
Well, hey, I got a Pan America you can ride.
Thanks.
You just go up there, the keys are in it. You can just turn it on, press the button. I didn't disconnect the battery or anything.
You're as good.
Where do you keep the key? Where do you keep the fob?
Tank bag with the coca leaves from Peru underneath the flamingo leg.
Nobody checked your bags?
They didn't check anything.
I could open it up wrapped in plastic. I'll take you up on that.
Have you seen the flamingo leg on it?
I did see
that's
it.
my favorite thing is that I got back here with the flamingo leg.
Mm-hmm.
It almost reminds me of some of those old bikes where the guys would put their furs or antlers on. It's part of the story. Some people really dress those bikes up, but it's just another one of those bits of story to it.
Yeah,
what's the story on that?
Well,
Have you told that yet?
I was where was I? I was at Via Epiquin. It's just like so it's a town that was built next to a lake, and at some point, like maybe 50 years after the town was built, the lake rose like 50 foot, covered the whole fucking town. And I think when that happened, there was runoff or something from below, filled it with salt. So it killed all the fucking trees, covered everything in that city with salt. So now, and then at some point since that happened, the water went back to the level it was when they built the town. Mm-hmm. So now it's this fucking sea of salt with this ghost town that's just demolished that you can like walk through, and they wouldn't let me ride in there. But it's also like there's a bunch of beaches there and like huts you can rent or like hang out at because people think it's like got healing powers. It's like taking a salt bath, except for it's natural. So we were there with my buddy Pato, a guy named, he's got a place called Invader Cycle Supply, builds choppers down in Buenos Aires. Super cool cat. He built a chopper out of a Beta motor that was on the cover of Dice.
Okay.
And but he met me a couple days outside of Buenos Aires. We went there. We camped out. We did a podcast. It was like the most brutal podcast I've ever done because I didn't realize how salty the water was. So we go get wet. We were hot all day. We go get in the water. It feels amazing. We come back over. And I'm like, fuck it. Let's start right now. Set up the mics, and we start drying. And there's just like, we have white film all over us, like just salt everywhere. My hair has got like a pound of fucking salt and all. It was just, and then we started getting eaten by mosquitoes. But anyways, we had a great night. Everybody left, and it was just us out there on this beach. There's like a bunch of dead trees everywhere. You're right next to this city that's fucking in shambles. And there was like this weird pink thing by the tree. And the next morning, and it just looked like trash at first. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I thought. I just assumed. I didn't even go look at it. And the next morning we woke up and there's fucking flamingos out there in the water, like, 100 yards from us. And then I was packing up and there was a flamingo on the ground. And I was like, go cut the fucking leg off that thing, And I gave him my knife. And he was like, you really want me to do this? And I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to do it, or you could do it while I'm getting my shit packed up.
Foot was on?
Yeah.
You could be part of the story and cut the fucking leg off.
Yeah.
So he did. He fucking took my knife made by Nick and cut the leg off the flamingo, and now it's here.
On his bike. There you go.
That's all right.
That's all right. That's fun.
Have you ever seen a flamingo in the wild before?
Just at the zoo.
I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like that.
In the wild. That's
yeah.
That's not
they
the
were
zoo.
Just at the zoo,
No.
I'm thinking about a time I lived above Scott Johnson.
Okay.
So when we were roommates, I tell everybody we were roommates, and he just gets all bummed. He gets all bent out of shape. Like, don't tell people that. We weren't roommates. And there's a dead possum under his porch or something. And I thought, oh, I'd have lucky possum feet if I cut them off and put them in a jar of rice, and they dried out in his attic. And he was like, don't put those up there. And I did anyways. And now those possum paws are on the shelf at our current residence.
Nice.
I'll just remember how I disobeyed Scott. I look at him.
And he still loves you.
He's got no choice.
That's awesome. I cut a foot off a rabbit while I was down there. Like when I was right as I was getting down into Patagonia, like the desert area, kept seeing these rabbits. And then finally there was one just laying dead on the side of the road. And I was like, I could use a rabbit foot right now.
See?
I could cut it.
It's not that weird.
Tied some leather on it and hung it off the bike. It fell off like that day. I don't know what I didn't make it back.
You just remember any animals ever in your life?
No.
You ever cut something off a dead animal on the side of the road?
Nope.
No.
I haven't.
Squirrel
This is
tail?
you.
Did you know there's armadillos down there too? Like I saw armadillos like this big.
There's armadillos in Missouri too.
Really?
Yeah, they're creeping up. They're coming up. They're
Better watch out.
migrating north.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's got to be way
They're
too
smaller?
cool.
They're way smaller in South America?
Dude, the ones I saw are real small. Dude, so there's this one stretch.
How small?
Softball?
Like
Like a softball. It was fucking wild.
Sure it wasn't a baby?
I mean, I'm not sure it wasn't
Who
a
knows?
baby. But in Texas, I've seen a lot of armadillos, but I've never seen a fucking baby armadillo or a small armadillo. So I don't know. But one of these sections of Route 40, it was like, it's a pretty popular, famous spot because it's like 70 kilometers of like the gnarliest gravel road. I think, what do they call it? Gripio down there. And I get to this section and I'm stoked. I'm like, all right, here's the hard part or whatever. Like there's a bunch of bikes and I'm like fist pumping every one of them I see. And they're all just like holding on real tight to not fall down. And next thing you know, I'm going really fucking fast because it wasn't near as bad as any of the other shit I've been riding. And I come around this like long bend to the right, and then I get to this deep, like fucking deep gravel. I mean, it was like riding on marble. So now I'm fucking holding on really tight. I'm going way too fast. But I'm in a rut that's probably like this. It's a deep rut, not a rut I want to try and climb out of at the speed.
Just maintain.
And then there's a fucking armadillo stuck in the rut too.
Oh no.
Like running down the fucking rut. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to hit this armadillo, So I lean over to the left and just like push the bike, into the side of that rut to miss him. And I slow down, look in the rearview mirror. He's still running down the fucking rut. And I was like, fuck yeah. But if I would have killed him, I would have gone and cut something off of him.
So going down
So you
there,
regret it? You regret not killing
No,
him?
I'm glad I'm just saying, like, if I would have killed him, I would
kidding.
have, like, brought something to live on, I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to take part of this.
so you're talking about going down a hill real fast, holding on real tight, being real sketchy. What can you tell us about longboarding?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
this is a
That was
new
a
thing.
transition right
Yeah.
there, dude.
Yeah, owning the podcast.
You should do this.
We hear you've been a longboarder in a previous life. Tell
Oh,
us
no,
about
it's this
that.
life.
Oh, it's
Same,
this life.
same life, really. Dude, I love skateboarding. And some of my friends got into longboarding years ago, and they used to come.
How long ago? Set the whole scene for us. What's your first time doing this?
I fucking don't know. I started skating a long time ago.
So
In
was
the
it a
90s.
regular skateboarding turned into longboarding and leather suits? And
Yeah, it did. It did turn into going really fast.
I remember some old skate videos in the 80s, they had downhill sections.
Oh yeah, or like slalom sections where
Yeah.
some fat dude wiggling, going through the cones.
Or even just like Santa Cruz videos. Like,
Yeah, or hitting some of the gnarly San Francisco hills on fucking popsicle sticks.
I mean, even today, that's wild.
I know, it's
That's-
fucking really wild.
I think we did that. They did that in Milwaukee once, 2 or 3 years ago. We got a hill called Juneau Avenue right downtown. It goes towards the Pfizer through the MSOE campus, and that's one of our gnarliest hills downtown, where you have to worry about cross traffic. And the skate shop organized a non-official event where they were doing a hill bomb, and I think it started getting a little drizzly that day, and a few of the hitters from around the city got down and pretty fun. And
Damn.
Just-
That reminds me, have you heard of the Broadway bomb
no, I haven't.
in New York?
No.
They do it. It's like, I mean, now it's huge, but I mean, it's just like a fucking 2-mile race downhill through the fucking traffic. You know, you're sketching behind cars. I mean, it's outlaw as fuck.
How about
Give us your craziest story, your craziest longboarding story.
yeah?
My craziest longboarding story.
Did you ever get road rash real bad?
Dude, I was going down a hill. So in Oklahoma, they don't have a speed limit for gravity vehicles.
So you're traveling doing this. Set the scene for us.
You're in Oklahoma. You're traveling around the country.
There's not fucking hills in Texas, you know. I like
True.
to go fast. I had to go find the closest mountains are in Oklahoma, and they had the gravity games there, like in '96 or '97, like back when luging got really big for a minute, you know, and like the NBC did the gravity games. Some girl died on one of the crash corner up there on one of the runs, but in Talamina, we had a friend that told us about this area. It's like a scenic byway. It's a great place to ride. A lot of motorcycles and a lot of off-road riding too. But this one hill, crash corner. No, what a crash. It was just one of the hills up there we're skating. And there's like, we used to go up there every year, Memorial Day, and we'd all pitch in and rent a U-Haul truck. And somebody would drive the U-Haul truck to the bottom of the hill, pick us all up. We'd all climb in the back of the truck and go to the top. We were going down one of these hills, and there's like 5 or 6 of us, you know, really close together. And I would keep a GPS in my shoelaces so I could see how fast I was going, you know, like, because you got a speed tut going. And I think we were like, you know, just over 50 miles an hour. And we were not wearing leathers this trip. This is before we had leathers. And there's like 5 or 6 of us really close together. And up ahead, I see like 2 fucking holes in the road, you know, like big hole, like right next to the center stripe. And, but it was like, I can't get out of the way fast enough.
Can't float over
it
either.
And I fucking hit him. And the board did like this crazy wobble and jumped over like 3 foot. And somehow I just like stayed on it and didn't go down. It was wild. But Talamina was cool because the cops would like, they'd be pulling people over for speeding, and then they would radar us go by on our skateboards over the speed limit. I'm like,
peace.
Dude, the cops.
Yeah, what could they do?
Couldn't do nothing. One time I came around a turn, and there was a fucking motorcycle in the middle of the road, just on its side, and I fucking tried to stop. I ended up like, I don't know if I wrecked, but I fucking lost the board. It went in a ditch and went down like 2 miles on the side of this hill. But I was looking for the guy in the motorcycle, you know? Couldn't find him fucking anywhere. And there was like, this is one of those roads where there's like car parts and trees and shit on the side of the road. Like lots of accidents happen. And finally a cop showed up, you know? We're like, dude, we don't know where there's a wrecked bike and there's nobody here. And I guess he was just like, he looked for a while with us. And I guess we just assumed that somebody picked him up, you know, like, and took him to the hospital because there was no. Dude, there was this one guy. Oh, fuck, what was his name? It was like fucking Adam or something. Crazy dude. He was like 50 years old, but he had some kind of disease when he was like in his 40s. And it like completely wiped his brain clean. So when I met him, the lady that was explaining it to me was like, he pretty much has the mind of a 17-year-old right now, but he's in the body of a 48-year-old. And this dude is absolutely fucking nuts. And he'd been doing it since the 90s, luging, downhill skateboarding. Anyways, we're at this fucking spot, you know, and this is just a road with guardrails, you know, there's no fucking hay bales. And he slid off into a guardrail and broke both of his legs above and below the knees. Okay. So he heals up. We go back, do another Memorial Day run. And I wasn't there for this one, but he was supposed to just drive the fucking vehicle, you know, but they're at the top of the hill and he's like, I think I can do it.
Oh no.
He does the same thing again. Fucking goes through a guardrail. Breaks both of his legs above and below the knee. Insane. And he would ride, he made a board out of metal. And it was so heavy. You would just like, literally you would lean out in front of it because the board would be pushing. Like you were more wind blocked than what the board would do by itself. Like you would be slowing the board down. That was fucking wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's more dangerous, riding a motorcycle or doing that?
I mean, it depends on what you're geared up for, you know? Riding a skateboard on public roads.
Sketchy.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's riding BMX or skateboarding in the city, I think it comes with the experience too. Same thing with motorcycling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're practiced in the subject, you know what to look for. You know how to hold your line or maneuver your line and get around the trouble that's coming at you. Like it's all experience. When people are mystified by, I can't believe he just did that trick or grinded down that handrail or something. Like, that's not the first time he tried it.
No.
He's fallen. He's learned how to fall. I used to tell people when I was younger, we learned how to fall. You know, I wish
skateboarding will teach you that.
And yeah, exactly. I never broke any bones doing it, but you know, I'm sore today from it. But yeah, you learn how to deal with the situation you're in. And
remember when you fell last night?
Which time? Yes,
you too.
Yeah, I did too. I felt worse.
I'm sitting in the stands behind Mitch, and after you slid out, I just see him just casually get up. I gotta go to work. Gotta go help Jake fix the bike for the next run.
The bike was all right for that one. Not the first heat.
Dude, that first one, dude, it just slid. I mean, I guess
it started spinning.
The sissy bar hit the wall and it
hit the hay bales,
bounced it off, and it was just sliding across the concrete.
I'm pretty impressed.
But sorry, go ahead.
I'm pretty impressed that through all the races, that when people ride their choppers and usually somebody on the chopper goes down, there's nothing terrible wrong that happened. The damage is very minimal.
The funniest thing, you're right about that. The funniest thing about my first wreck was Dan was in the stands watching it because you raced the heat race before me.
Yeah.
And as soon as I wrecked, got the whole shot and everything, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling good. Sure enough, wipe out, wreck my bike. And what did they say?
Oh, that's why you don't flat track chopper.
Yeah, please. That's why we do it though, right?
That GoPro video that you had on your handlebars was an amazing video to see itself too.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. It looked really violent.
The guy doing the wheelie off the line next to you, and then you come around the track and your bike's spinning around.
You didn't race at all, Chris. What's up with that?
I just haven't made it a priority to get anything to race.
Yeah.
Smart.
And last year, after putting that sidecar into the wall, luckily,
I didn't see that.
I didn't either. What happened?
I built Scott a sidecar, side hack mini bike, because he was, I don't know if it was in Brazil or something. Like, he rode one somewhere, and he's like, I got to have one of those. So,
he used to race sidecar motorcycles.
Real motorcycles.
Yeah.
And
Scott Johnson?
Scott Johnson. You didn't know that?
No.
Scott has, before he got into Harleys or whatever, he had a...
Also, I can't believe he let me race his bike, by the way. That was stupid of him. But we did all right.
Like, I heard Mark say it on the PA, like, that's how the flat track community is. Like, you go out to a flat track, you go out to the ice races around here, get on it. Like, we want you to experience this. It's a very, very inviting community. It's as long as the whole motorcycle community around here has been that way too.
That's sweet.
It's really cool. So I'm not surprised that he let you ride it. I rode one of Warren's in a flat track on dirt, his WRTT. And Mike Lang actually let me ride his 1950 WR at Plymouth. And again, they're just so inviting and that stuff can be fixed. Like, I asked him, like, what aren't you afraid of something getting broken? And he's like, no, I can fix it.
Yeah.
So we watched.
And nobody's going to ride my bike harder than I am.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like, yeah, of course you can ride my bike.
So actually, somebody asked me that yesterday. They were like, do you feel like you didn't ride as hard because it wasn't your bike? And I was like, I thought about it before, like, we took off, but as soon as, like, take off the line, it's like, I'm racing right now.
Yeah,
I'm being competitive. And I don't really think about, oh, this is somebody else's bike. It's like, I'm here to just race.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
I know the WRTT that I raced of Warren's, the cams in it were so hot that you had to give it RPM, and you're thinking, oh, this is an old engine, and this thing isn't going to want RPM.
What's going on there?
Someone's giving it RPM, dude.
Yeah.
So that's how my bike is. Like, it really likes to live at full throttle. Like, getting there, it's okay, but it just likes being pinned.
You feel bad about doing it. You don't want to wreck it, but that's what the bike wants. You got to give it what it wants.
Damn.
Anyway, what's your opinion? Dan says I wrecked him in the first lap. I didn't wreck him. I didn't touch him until he fell.
Dan?
Yeah.
I mean,
on the brakeless class. In the brakeless class.
I can't say that I did.
Oh man.
You know,
and then
you think that everybody's watching when you're out there.
I know.
Like, what else could they possibly be doing
right now?
Like, We're out here racing brakeless motorcycles.
They've got to be watching it, right?
Gotta be watching now.
Yeah, it's a funny theory behind the brakeless stuff, and the heats haven't been that stacked so much recently, I've noticed, but when there's a lot more brakeless riders out there, it gets really hairy, and it's easy to go down, especially with some of those the older bikes. There's not that much ground clearance. You can't get over very much, and you wash out, right? So the next thing you know, you're into the wall. And you get grip on your tires, but once you're on the ground, you can slide pretty good. Once that metal hits that ground, you're sliding.
I know.
I slid pretty good last night.
Low slides aren't that bad, but it flashes in your mind.
That's the thing is you got to keep
way.
that bike underneath you, you know, where you're like, if it does go down, it's going down that way, you know.
Somebody said they saw you after you dumped the mini bike.
You dumped the mini bike too? I missed that because I was getting ready for the next race.
You were side saddling. You were sitting on the side.
That was on my flathead.
That was on your flathead?
Yeah, when I tried to jump back on.
Yeah, that was his flathead.
Fucking side saddle into all the hay bales going down the straightaway. Make the turn. Finally, I realized I can't, in this suit, I can't pull my leg up over the fucking tank. So I fucking try and jump off again, almost lose it, and then swing a leg around and jump on it.
The only reason I raced is because of Dan. I will say that. Isn't that true?
Really?
You said, why don't you just race with me? And I was like, well, I don't have a bike to race.
Fucking race.
I was like, I don't have a bike to race. And he was like, well, race your chopper. And I was like, okay, well, I might as well.
I give you a lot of credit for riding the chopper and Scott's bike. I think.
And then from there, it wasn't even Scott that gave me permission to ride his bike. Warren was like, Scott's bike's at my shop, just ride it. And I was like, is Scott cool with that? And he was like, yeah, he'll be fine. So I texted Scott and Scott was like, yeah, sure.
Well, I was bestowed upon the task to chaperone Warren's son, who raced 50s in the Stasics.
Okay.
And our friend Katie's little boy, who's 8. And I signed their waivers for him. So I think it's a pretty, I guess, free community to where it's like,
that's cool.
They want their kids to do this stuff, and it's...
It was such a rush for me, though.
A lot of trust. Yeah, dude.
Such a rush.
And I'm more scared of riding the brakeless flathead stuff out there because I've seen Eric Bass go into the wall the last couple of years, and Warren got run over. The guy launched over. Warren low-sided it a few years ago, and then somebody came up behind him and literally rode over his rear tire, over his gas tank. There's a skid mark still on it.
There's nothing you can do. Like if somebody goes down in front, it's like you can't stop it.
Yeah,
like,
you're
there's
lucky.
No break.
You can't get out of the way. And every time somebody goes down out there, I'm surprised
they
people aren't getting run over.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it was kind of nice being with the fucking Yamahas. You know, those guys were just bouncing off me.
I know.
Oh yeah.
They're just so light. I'm like,
so a little more
if that would have
agile.
been Jake running into me on the flathead, it's like it wouldn't have been as forgiving.
Both would have gone down.
Yeah.
But in your heat race, when you're that yellow Yamaha, you guys were just bouncing off of each other.
So good.
Yeah.
So
that's racing.
And then he went down in front of me and I just ran right into him, you know, like.
I'm so confused on how you got around that guy.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened either, really. Because he was, I hit him square in the back and I guess he rolled because I didn't pick the, you know, like.
You hit Jake in the back?
No, this other dude.
Other guy?
Yeah.
On a Yamaha something.
He had a big giant air suit on, like a.
Did it inflate?
No, I hit him pretty good. Maybe I didn't hit him very good.
No, you did.
Step it up next time.
Yeah, fuck. I'm gonna make that suit go off next time, dude.
No, for real though, the biggest thing I learned was it's all about taking off the line.
Oh yeah.
On those short tracks it is.
Yeah.
That's the short track for sure.
It's hard to get.
And we both qualified good for the brakeless class. So we actually got to start on the front line. But if you were like on the, how many lines did they have? 3?
2 or 3
rows.
When I was on the front.
Yeah.
I'll look backwards.
Yeah, don't look backwards.
Yeah, it's hard to climb.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's hard to climb rank when you're not getting off that front line.
On the short track, it's hard to pass people.
But it also, anything can happen. Like we've seen JJ rolling up ahead, and then next thing you know, he's on the ground and somebody else is out front. So
that's it. You got to be there though to take advantage of when something like that happens.
Yeah.
Got to be in the right place.
Don't give up if you're third because you could be up front real quick.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, especially on that track.
Especially on those short tracks. Dude, racing the big track in Daytona, that's fucking wild. No brakes, rolling fucking 80 miles an hour into a turn with 3 dudes you don't really know.
And that's on asphalt too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you wear full leathers for that?
Huh?
Do you wear full leather?
Yeah, I was wearing leathers, yes.
You're talking Sons of Speed, and that's coming up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you doing it this year?
Yep. Yeah. I didn't think I was going to like it so much.
A lot of cool guys out there.
Dude, and it's the same thing out there. Everybody's so stoked and helpful in the pits, you know. It's like, dude, they would give you the motor out of their bike, if that's what you asked for.
For sure.
Like, I mean, they're just,
That's
it's
cool.
amazing. I mean, that's how
That's
all
the racing world.
is,
That's
really.
right.
It's fucking so good, And I love the way that Jeremy has a special talent of like, communication and like getting everybody on the same page and like communicating what the event is all about.
And his philosophy.
Through his philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like one thing that I love about him that is lacking in almost every other race I've been to. It's just like really bringing everybody together, getting them on the same page. And everybody does a writer's meeting and, but doesn't explain it and kind of just put everybody on the same page as to what's really going on here.
Yeah.
Like,
and on top of that, include fun things and make it fun. It's not just about racing. It's enjoying the time with your friends and the people at the track.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dan, I got a question for you.
Nope.
Yep.
Chris. No, I'm just kidding.
So I got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
First one, how'd you get your nickname, Danger Dan?
So I played in a band called Walker and the Texas Dangers. And I played guitar. I was like ride around on my motorcycle with
What kind of band is this?
It's a bluegrass band.
Okay.
We were just like called punk rockers playing bluegrass. And we were going on tour and it was like, the band had started a Facebook page or MySpace or some shit. But I was on probation. I wasn't even allowed to leave my county. So I was like, we can't put my name on there. So just make it Danger Dan.
So you came up with your own nickname.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of risky?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really, it wasn't
Isn't that against the
nickname at
rules?
first. It was just like, I was trying not to, go back to
Did
jail.
Did you get any shit from that by anybody?
For
your
what?
friends? Like, dude, you came up with your own nickname.
No, not until
What the hell
now.
is this?
Fucking dick.
No, I think it's a pass because it's part of a band name, right? So you
Yeah,
get
I
a
mean,
pass on it.
I
Don't be nice to him.
Not to go to jail,
Okay. I like
No, I
it.
get
That's
it, I
an
get it.
amazing story too, though.
I get it.
It was
Way around the
I
rules.
wasn't supposed to leave the county, and they're just posting pictures of us drinking beers and playing music, all over the country.
That's pretty cool.
That's how I heard about Mama Tried. We played at the Wisco in Madison.
Yeah, I remember hearing that
Some
on
dude,
the podcast.
the bartender had a fucking panhead, and he was like,
And you guys rode here from Madison.
and we rode here. Right,
Dang.
he brought me right to the museum. He's like, "You want to go inside?" And I was like, "No,
That's
let's
awesome.
keep riding."
Was it snowing that year?
No, this was November.
Okay.
He didn't bring me to Mama Tried. He just told me about.
The show.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's retarded. It's fucking cold up here in November. I can't imagine what it's like in February. Why would you have a motorcycle show?
There was one year in February, though, that on that Saturday, it was maybe the first or second one on 2nd Street. The weather was so nice that JJ and I rode down from Waukesha,
Really?
20 miles. I don't know how.
Was that at the old venue?
It would have been the 3rd venue that they had it at.
Yeah. I feel like I remember that.
And we went to Cactus Club afterwards for an after party on our bikes. And it was getting colder. And this is February. I think before I left, too, I put a little lighter oil in my bike. And somehow our bike started first kick after being dead cold.
Damn.
And for even my Sportster, that's like
I put some
unheard
thinner
of.
oil in my flathead yesterday. I was like, there's not enough warm-up time here. Gotta thin it out.
But yeah,
You did so good yesterday. You crushed it.
I had so much fun.
Mhm.
I won all day. I didn't see any checkered flags, but I was winning all fucking day. It's good. But yeah, that being said, I was like fucking crazy to have a motorcycle event in February. But when I first came here, like 17 or 18 or whenever the first time I came, we went to the one moto show and then drove across. It was like a fucking crazy blizzard that we were in the whole way here. But getting here and like hanging out just kind of reminded me like the shows, even during the summertime when I ride to them, it's all about the fucking people, And I think Scott, Warren, and Jeremy all do a great job of curating some of the raddest people to come. It's like they don't pick you because you built a cool bike. They want you to come hang out. They're like, just bring whatever. Like when they call me up and ask me to bring a bike, I'm like, well, what do you want me to bring? They're like, whatever you want to talk about. You know,
sure.
like, we want you to come to Milwaukee. And I'm like, fuck, that's
cool.
Awesome.
What day did you get in? Do you remember what day you got in when you first came?
That first year?
Yeah.
No, we raced at Flat Out Friday.
I guess I'm alluding, like, one of my favorite vibes about the whole event is being at Field Cafe that Thursday night.
Yep.
And people are just getting into town for the first time.
That's when we got in. We definitely were there.
Like, it's just, it's a switch. It's on. The weekend turns on as soon as you walk into Fuel. There's whatever chaos is going on there, it starts the weekend out. Mm-hmm. You come into the unexpected, and it parallels the adventures we have on the motorcycles. Like, you don't know what you're in for, but whether you're ready for it or not, you're going to deal with it and enjoy the hell out of it. You're going to look back and laugh.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's a great spot to kick it off, too.
Dude.
And then we'll wake up early the next morning.
Go race.
In the coals.
It's like one year Thursday night there, Jeremy comes up with this stupid idea to joust on the mini bikes. Mm-hmm. That was something I was scared of doing, but after doing it a couple times, I didn't get as hurt as I thought I would. But I know one guy might have broke his ankle on my mini bike, and I had to search for a flywheel before the race the next day at Flat Out Friday.
Flywheel.
But last year, I think there was a makeshift pallet jumps out front. You know, sketchy shit like. Mm-hmm. That's the excitement, just the unknown of what's going to happen in the whole weekend. What can happen? And then this year, Warren shows up with his snowmobile.
Well, that was Warren's snowmobile.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
I've never ridden a snowmobile.
No?
No.
Dude, there's so much.
That was your opportunity.
Fun. Yeah, I know.
Thursday night.
He asked me to, and I was like, I'll come back.
Dude, there's so much fun. You got one?
No.
You don't have one?
I think that was the first time I ever rode one.
Really?
Took it around
Thursday?
the block. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought everybody up here had one. That was just like way of life.
Yeah, Harley and a snowmobile.
Yeah.
Nah, you go ice fishing in the winter?
Me.
What do you do? Just hang out in the garage?
Yeah, what does everybody do here in the winter?
In the winter.
It's cold.
Yeah, hang out in our garages.
Mm-hmm.
Work on something.
Yeah.
Drink some beers.
Yeah. I guess that's the blue-collar mentality of living in Milwaukee would be going to the bars and working on your bikes. That's not something that I usually do, but
it's not hard to find a bar around here.
But yeah.
For real. There's bars everywhere here. It feels like that to me, at least.
Is that like that anywhere else?
No.
North Carolina is not like that? It's just normal to me. Like, literally every neighborhood, it would have a bar at least every 2 blocks. And sometimes a bar in the middle of the neighborhoods if you're in a more denser area, because walking to the nearest busy street was too far. And
especially when it's cold and snowy.
And back in the 90s, too, you would have, on a good summer night, 10 motorcycles lined out front of half the bars out there. So the city of Milwaukee with the motorcycles has just been...
Have you been here your whole life?
My whole life. And it's amazing how motorcycle-centric the city has been, how the brand has been in the DNA of the city. Mm-hmm. I love, like, one of my best memories of hanging out with the Hindes is Nick coming up here and having that look on his face of awe and just saying, you know, Milwaukee's like lawless when you're on a motorcycle. You can do whatever you want. Like, and I've never experienced anything else. Like, riding with your friends. Yeah, you're not being a dick, but you're riding faster, 10, 15 over the limit. You're in a group of friends. You make sure that people see you and you blow the lights. You do what you need to do on your bikes. Like, you own the city. Cops just wave at you.
I mean, I ride like that everywhere most of the time.
Yeah. When I came down to the congregation show, I brought my Sportster to ride around. Like, hey, let's hang out. Let's party like we do up here. Yeah. And
couldn't do that.
I mean, I kind of tried, but nobody else was into it. I was like, I thought we were riding motorcycles. I thought this was a motorcycle show. I was kind of bummed, but it was what it is. You know?
Oh, man.
I don't get out and ride much, and like the time I go to hit it. So I showed up to that bar and I just played every Van Halen track on that jukebox that everyone was at. And I didn't see many of you Prism guys. You must have been working pretty hard.
I was, working them to death.
That's all right though.
Can't remember which bar that was.
Dude, I went to a cool bar when I was
Thirsty
there.
Beaver?
I don't remember. It was one of the pre-party nights.
Did they have a patio out back?
Oh, Tipsy Burrow.
I think they had some tacos.
Yeah, Tipsy Burrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I went.
That's where we do like our bike night,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the kickoff night of Friday night
Yeah.
maybe.
probably.
So what other things do you guys, what strikes you guys
Well,
about Milwaukee?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Got one more question for you. I hear you're a pretty famous dude. You know, you're well known in this motorcycle world. I guess the longboard world too, music scene. But I heard a rumor that your sister's more famous than you.
Oh, she is. Absolutely.
Tell us.
Yeah, my sister,
Doing what?
Uncle Becca. She has a hat company called Inappropriate Trucker Hats, where she prints, what's her saying? She prints inappropriate shit slightly crooked on a trucker hat. And she just comes up with the funniest shit ever, prints them on trucker hats.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's her business.
She's got a storefront in Prosper, Texas, and then she goes to like music events and sets up and vends, prints hats on the spot. She'll print a picture and just print it on the hat right there and sell it to you.
That's
Somebody's
crazy.
trying hard to get in, huh?
For real. All right, I'm sorry. What were you saying? I totally interrupted you.
You guys, how many times, you've been to Milwaukee twice now?
Oh, no.
Way more?
Yeah. 5 times?
5 times?
6 times.
What's your favorite part about coming to the city?
The food,
People.
the people.
Is this just around the event?
No, like I came
Yeah.
through here in the summer one time, and Scott took me out to a sweet restaurant. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was one he owned or not, but we had good food. Then he like gave me the keys to his place, you know, up like his vacation spot on the Mississippi River is just like a fucking piece of grass overlooking the river.
For sure.
And it was
Yeah,
so
it feels like a
sick.
giving city.
Yeah,
Like everybody
very.
here is like just wants to give you something.
Well, I think that's like attached to the brand in general. You know, like everywhere you go or everywhere I've been, man. When you ride a Harley, you're part of this fucking club.
Mhm.
You know, it's bigger than this city. It's very strongly represented here, but it's all the way at the bottom of South America. You know, it's pretty wild.
It's being involved in BMX and skateboarding and now motorcycles. It's been pretty amazing to me how being passionate about your subject can really bring you together with the people that have similar interests. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty blown away at that aspect that motorcycling has given us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dan, you've done a great job of bringing us all together, sharing our stories, keeping that world moving, that culture, that community.
Just like talking, you know. I enjoy this. You know,
Right.
it's like, you know, they wanted me to do this on a stage and share it with everybody, and like, you know, that would have been cool. But this is really good. You know,
It feels more intimate.
Yeah.
it is.
Right.
It is. But yeah, it's crazy that I've got myself into this position I'm at, and I've been doing it for a few years now. You know, thank you, Jake.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well,
I remember I came to the congregation. I was going to ride my chopper there, and something fucking happened. I think it was like with the timing plate on a nose cone, like something broke in there. Maybe it was just something I couldn't fucking fix or didn't know how to, or maybe I just wanted to ride that FXR with the sidecar because my buddy had spouted off. He's like, "Oh, if your chopper's broke, you can ride this." So I call up Mike. I'm like, "Hey, Mike, were you serious?"
Yeah, can I actually do that?
And I rode that fucking side hack. That's a terrible idea, to ride a side hack across the country.
Never done it.
Don't. I mean, I guess if you're like giving somebody a ride, like if there was a dog or
Don't.
somebody over there enjoying it, where I could be like, okay, you know, I'm doing this for
But
them,
you just had
know?
luggage.
Yeah, I just got like shit, you know, like fuck.
That didn't make it any easier to ride though.
That was before we had a
Yeah.
tire changer at the shop too.
That
Remember
was,
that?
we were able to cut that fucking
We
tire
used
off.
to cut off wheel, cut the
Mhm.
tire off.
Done that a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah, I was showing wires on that fucking thing. And I was going.
There's no
90
way you were
over
making
there.
On
it
someone
back.
else's bike.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you figured it out.
Dude, it's
somehow.
crazy, dude. I like got into a zone. It took a while to figure out how to like drive it because when you want to turn right or, you know, like just change lanes to the right, you kind of have to speed up. If you want to go to the left, you kind of got to like slow down to, use the speed because there's the drag from that outside wheel. But after riding it for like 1,000 miles, I was just one with the motorcycle. I wasn't even thinking about all those little things I was doing to make it work the way I wanted to. And then I get somewhere north of Atlanta. The sun's down, it's dark out. And I was like swerving through traffic, using 3 lanes, like I was on a regular bike. And then I looked down and saw I was going fucking 90 miles an hour. And I've got like one of my feet is on the side hack. Like half my butt's on the seat. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing?
Getting too comfortable.
Way too comfortable. And I was like, I hadn't slept enough. So I was like, a little bit, I wouldn't even think. I was just doing it, right? And I see the speed and I'm like, wait a second. Fuck, I need to slow down. And at that point, came into a construction zone. It all went down to 1 lane with concrete barrier on either fucking side. And I couldn't even I was having trouble just going straight without hitting those fucking concrete barriers. Because I started thinking about it,
Yeah.
But I made it. We fixed the tire.
Yeah,
rode back.
somehow we fixed the tire.
I was bugging Jake the whole week. I was like, dude, I need a you said you had a tire. Like, I just want to make sure that this is going to, you're like, Dan, I will take care of you. Right now, I've got this event going on. Just chill the fuck out.
I was like, here's the keys to the shop. You figure it out.
Make it happen later. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you guys have been pretty accommodating over there, haven't you?
We try to be.
Yeah.
It's hard. That weekend specifically is hard just because we're all spread so thin.
Yeah.
Putting an event on. But aside from that weekend, yes. If anybody's in town, something happens, they need anything, we'll make it work.
It was really cool seeing
keep people on the road.
Little Pat from Milwaukee up here bring his bike down for the show, and you guys helped him get the rest of it buttoned up.
Yeah.
And then he walks away with your Prism Pick award.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That kid around here has been
Dude, he's doing awesome stuff. Sweet kid.
Who's this?
Little Pat Murphy, we call him. I think he's 24 years old. He's an engineer over at Milwaukee Tool.
Okay. He's like Kirpius's little
Kirpius is really stoked on the kid. He's very passionate about doing this stuff. He's never drank, really tall, skinny, innocent, but his passion for building motorcycles just came out of nowhere. Like, he jumped in both feet first, and he's in over his head, and he pulled it off.
Awesome.
All summer, he got hit on his bike last year, and he's been rebuilding his chopper, but instead of just rebuilding it, he's built it from the frame up. He started molding the neck and added some tubing to the front of it, some stuff that nobody else would think of, but he's taken some pretty big chances in doing it.
Really?
Did the paint, did everything on it, did all the work.
Didn't want to outsource anything. He wanted to learn how to do it all himself. He got some good pointers from Kendall, and a few of us helped him with some fabrication stuff. Mm-hmm. Me, Chris Graves, here and there. But
how old is he?
24. 24. And I think after I took him to the bar to get chicken wings, after I helped him bend some brake linkage, and he says wow a lot. Everything is an experience to him.
He says
wow.
Oh, wow. He says wow a lot.
Yeah,
okay.
So he's very impressed by every little thing that goes on.
Oh, so he's stoked. That's always exciting to have around.
And that's what gets me excited, and probably Kirpius too, is he's just super excited to be putting a lot of these new experiences, figuring the stuff out. I can't wait to ride with him this summer and see what kind of, how he handles just being on the road, getting into situations too. But
he's thankful for everything too.
Oh, very. Yeah.
Is he here this weekend, I imagine?
Yeah, his bike's in the show.
His bike's in the show. Sick. He's wandering around, and he's a great young guy.
Okay, well, I hope you guys introduce me to him.
For sure.
We will.
Brought him to the bar to get chicken wings, and some guy was giving him shit for not drinking, and it was a hell of an experience for him, and I'm just laughing. I'm trying to keep not laying into this guy. Get the fuck out of here, dude. So the guy asked Pat why he doesn't drink, and then Pat kind of explained to him, yada, yada, yada. But then out of nowhere, Pat decides to ask him the same question.
Why are you
drinking here? Why are you here by yourself? And I'm just like, oh shit. You just opened Pandora's box. Yeah, why does this guy drink? What's his fucking problem? Oh man, eventually he got offended and walked off, but that was it.
But you were letting Pat stand on his own right there.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I wanted him to enjoy that experience. It's an experience of dealing with belligerent people that it makes us grow. And whether we're the belligerent people in the world or we're dealing with the other ones, it's fun to push those limits and boundaries.
Stuff to be learned on both sides.
Oh, for sure. So seeing this kid learn is very enlightening to me and probably the rest of us.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool that in the small time that he's been involved in motorcycling, he's been able to bring it to the East Coast and build friendships with you guys, and it's going to be interesting to see where he takes it the next couple of years.
I mean, it's amazing where motorcycles will take you.
Yeah. So like when you're skateboarding or BMXing, you watch the new generations come in and see them come involved in it. And I think with Warren and Scott, they have been very welcoming. They've taught the rest of us to welcome in the next generation. Some of the older guys around here are having an epiphany too. Oh yeah, we have to cater to the young guys, and I'm excited that it's starting to happen to us now. So we can start taking care of the next young guys and make this hobby grow.
You got to pass on the information that you've learned.
Yeah.
Share it with other people.
For sure.
I mean, that's one thing when I talk to the old dudes that own shops and are capable of doing a bunch of are you teaching anybody this shit? You know, like, please find these, like, a lot of them can't find people to teach the information to, or, you know, they're just old and disgruntled. And
I think it goes both ways. Like, there's a lot of kids out there that want to learn stuff, but if you're going to be a dick about it, they're not going to hang around some old asshole.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, that's a tough one. So was Michael Langman teaching you some shit?
Yeah, I've been teaching him. He's been teaching me some stuff.
You've been teaching him some stuff.
I've been teaching him something. Yeah, it goes both ways. There's instances
where
it
it's does
like,
too.
Yeah, like he was a tool room machinist forever, ran a shop, and then eventually he started getting more work on his own, being able to take care of himself. I've had to talk with him so many times about going out on your own, doing your own thing. It's scary. I mean, I have not been able to do that myself. I've retired a couple times, but after a year or two, I'm back to working for the man.
Yeah.
I'm happy with where I'm at now. It's a dream job, and I'm so appreciative of it. And
Michael's a freaking wizard, though, isn't he?
Yeah, there's some things that he does like that would take me 8 hours to accomplish, and somehow he figured out how to do it in 45 minutes. Like, he's just done it for so long, and he has got so much experience with that stuff. And just the processes, techniques, the finishing techniques, like, it's just been so rewarding, and so I appreciate it so much to learn as much as I have from him, and the opportunities that I've gotten from him, whether it's racing or just building what I've built. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of this stuff without a lot of the inside knowledge that he's got.
That's awesome.
And it took a while to crack, honestly, too.
Yeah.
Like, the first time I brought him my Sportster motor, like, hey, can you help me out with this? He came down to the Valley shop that we had, and he checked it out, and we took the cylinders off, and the pistons were fried, but there was weeks where he wouldn't answer his phone because he was busy with other stuff. Now, after 8 to 10 years of bothering the guy, he answers almost immediately now. And
that's awesome.
I try to make it over there once a week on Tuesdays to work on whether it's my engine or just hang out and talk with him about life and his experiences that he's had in motorcycling and building the stuff.
That's cool.
And it's pretty amazing to see him go from building choppers when he's 14 to getting into the antique world and going through the motorcycling of Milwaukee, the 70s and 80s, hanging out with the clubs and still being able to build a business with antique motorcycles and to still be involved and turn a new chapter into this new culture of motorcycling that there is today.
Yeah, he's a fucking legend for sure.
Been a great mentor.
We were talking at the bar the other night, and he was just the ease in which he'll talk about something that seems so mind-boggling.
Yeah.
He'll just breeze on by it like it's no big deal. I'm like, no, back on up. You cut the fucking cam cover off of what? Like,
Talks like it's normal.
Yeah, like
Yeah. But that comes with experience too. Like,
yeah, no, it's great. It's just like hearing him say it. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy's on a fucking another level.
it's like it reminds me of like when you go to college and they teach you all this shit and then you get into the real world and they say, forget what you learned there. Like, I kind of had that with machining too. Like,
Yeah.
you mess up all these parts, but then after a while you learn to anticipate what the metal's going to do when you weld it, when you machine it, and then you learn how you can cut something off and weld it to another bike or reincorporate it. It's just there becomes a point where the motorcycle parts just become metal, and then you just make them do what you want. So the stuff that he's figured out, I don't know if I'll ever be able to understand entirely what he's been able to do.
Well, keep going over there and learning as much as you can.
And there's some things that I've done that like it starts to grow on him because we're all our own artists per se, and he doesn't necessarily agree with what I do sometimes if it's, making the tanks or fenders or something a certain way because it's not original or something. It doesn't hold the OEM dimensions or something. Like, not that he is entirely a purist. He's not a purist, but
he's definitely not a purist.
No. But
he's probably set in his ways too, and he's like doesn't see it from the perspective you're coming at.
Yeah.
There's some pushback, like, hey, why would you do that?
But it goes both ways, and that's what makes a good relationship is learning to understand somebody and let them have their place and their word.
Yeah. Beautiful. You should do a fucking My Garage episode with Michael Lang, dude.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. He's fucking wild.
Yeah, you guys are leaving Monday, right?
No. We're actually we're shooting Bill from the museum.
Okay.
We're shooting his house for that My Garage series that Dan's talking about. We're doing that Monday and Tuesday, and then flying to Detroit, shooting Detroit Randy.
Randy, he was just in here. He's
I love Randy.
On Wednesday.
Dude.
Randy's amazing. Rodenza lives about 2.5 miles away from me.
Oh, yeah?
Real close.
Yeah.
Small little neighborhood.
Rodenza.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's a really cool dude.
Is he at the museum?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the guy? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, cool. Hey, fellas. Bell reached out and asked if you guys wanted a Bell helmet.
Really?
Shit.
Yeah, you guys want a Bell helmet?
What?
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Well, fuck, I got one for you.
What?
Just not one of these.
Oh.
I'll get you one in the mail.
All right, that's
That'd
fine
be
too.
amazing.
We'll take
I
that.
would love that.
Thank you for sitting down and joining
Thanks
me.
for having
Thank
us,
you.
man.
Great, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you, guys. Hey, and I'll see you on the track again.
Yeah, who's going to win?
Me?
Me? I always
Yeah, Chris. Chris is going to win.
Fellas.
We'll get out
All
there.
right, me too.